What is going on, guys? Joe here with RedmanPie.com, and today we'll be checking out iOS 10, which was recently announced by Apple at its yearly keynote WWDC. Now do keep in mind this is currently in beta form, so it's only available for app developers. But the good news is if you want to go ahead and try out iOS 10, there is going to be a public beta coming in July, so I'll leave a link down below if you want to go ahead and sign up for that. Now if you are trying to go ahead and dive into iOS 10, you will have to have a compatible device, and those range from all the way back to the iPhone 5 and newer, also the iPad Air and newer, including all iPad mini models, also the new iPad Pro 9.7 and 12.9 inch display, and also the iPod Touch 5th generation and 6th generation. So if your iOS device is not listed, unfortunately you won't be able to run iOS 10 when that is available. So there have been many improvements and tweaks to iOS 10, and to start things off, we're going to talk about Raise to Wake. So this is going to be a new feature that allows you to wake your device by raising your device, and then it'll go ahead and wake it up to the lock screen so then you can see your notifications and things like that. So simply raising it or picking it up from a table, it'll go ahead and activate this feature, which is pretty nice. That way you don't have to press the home or the actual power sleep button to wake it up. So no more having to press one of those buttons in order to wake up the display. Simply go ahead and raise it up, and then you activate your lock screen here. So along with the lock screen, there have been a little bit of improvements as well on here. So now there's no slide to unlock or anything like that. Now it says press home to unlock. So in order to do that, you can go ahead and press the home key, and then it'll go ahead and unlock the screen. Now another thing with that is the fact that when you swipe right, or actually left, you go ahead and activate the camera. So there's no longer an icon down here at the bottom right so you can swipe up. So now it's simply swipe to the left, and then you activate the camera. Now if you swipe to the right, you get a today's view. So this is a new little thing here to iOS 10. This simply allows you to see all of your different applications, like little widgets. So you'll be able to also edit your widgets. So you can add more widgets, things like that, organize them. Now, today's view is actually accessible when you are on your home screen. So swiping to the right, you'll activate the today's view. So instead of having to swipe down on your notifications, it is no longer there. It is now swiping to the right on your home screen or on your lock screen. So speaking of notifications, you have also new notifications. It's a little redesign here. They look a lot better, definitely, compared to all previous iOS. And another key thing is you'll be able to 3D touch on this little X on the top right and clear all notifications. So that's a win. Now, another thing, moving away from the lock screen and the notifications, we have got some improvements all around the applications. So I want to talk about the apps. Now on the apps, you will notice that there is an updated news application here, and we can quickly glance through that. Personally, I never use the news application, but news is going to be similar to other apps known as Flipboard and things like that. You'll be able to get your news directly through this application. Now the next thing I want to talk about is called the Home application. So this is going to be Apple's new app that allows you to basically have a hub to all your smart home enabled devices that feature HomeKit. So if your smart home device has HomeKit, then you can go ahead and load it here in this application and then control it. So things like your Philips Hue smart bulbs, or other things like your smart lock, or even your thermostat like Nest thermostat. There's a variety of HomeKit enabled devices out there now, and that can all be in this hub called Home. Now next we have Control Center. So as you notice, Control Center has a slight redesign. So now we have pages. So if you simply swipe over to the left, you have your music controls, and then swiping back over, you still have your normal toggles up top, your airplane mode, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, do not disturb, and rotation lock. Under that we have our brightness slider, and then below that we have our AirPlay option along with our AirDrop option next to that. And then right below that we have Night Shift. It now has a big button here. They can enable Night Shift, and if you're not aware of what Night Shift is, it allows you to change the color temperature of your display. So it's great to use, especially at night. You can change the color temperature of your screen to a little warmer so it won't cause so much strain on your eyes when you are reading something or viewing something on your device. But now, swiping over to the right, we have access to our music controls, and you can go ahead and start playing a song, for instance. So when playing a song, you will get your album artwork on the top left. You get your song title, the artist, and the album. And then you get the scrubber here where you can scrub through the track. And then your music controls, your previous track, your play pause button, and skip a track, and the volume. And right below that, we have the option to change it from playing on the iPhone or to a Apple TV if that's connected to your network, or if you have a Bluetooth also connected to your device, you'll be able to switch it right here. So those are some of the improvements on Control Center. I actually like their little redesign on here. It's a little cleaner. So let me know what you think about that in the comments below. So another thing with iOS 10, it seems like it has paid more attention to 3D touch enabled devices. So things like this, your notifications on your lock screen, you can 3D touch that text message, for example, or any notification, and it'll give you more options now. But for this text message, when you 3D touch on it, it'll go ahead and pop up the quick reply. And normally, once you reply, the thread will go away. But now you can reply and keep the conversation going. So if they reply, you can still reply back. So it will not disappear after just one reply. You'll simply exit out to dismiss the quick reply option here. So speaking about messaging, with iOS 10, there's a lot of improvements in the messaging application. Things like rich links. So if you aren't aware of what rich links are, when you are posting a link here and you're gonna send it out, typically you just get the link displayed. But now with rich links, what that does, it actually generates a photo or a thumbnail of that certain video or article that you just posted. So no longer will you get those nasty links. It actually displays or generates a thumbnail of that video or article. But what's even better is the fact that if it's a video, for example, this is a YouTube video, you can go ahead and play it directly from the messaging application. So no longer will you have to navigate away from the Messages application. You can directly watch that video here in the Messages app. Now when it comes to the camera and photos in the messaging application, typically when you want to go ahead and access a photo to send out, you'll tap on this camera icon on the left. Now you will notice that there was an arrow there, and that was to unlock these other little features here, which we'll speak about here in a second. But if we tap on the camera application here, or the camera icon I should say, you now have access to the camera application directly from the Messages. So now this is actually a live preview of the camera app. So if you want to quickly take a photo, you can simply tap on there and then you can go ahead and send that photo out. Or if you want to go ahead and turn over the camera, you can also do that. And if you swipe over to the left, you will also have your recent photos and videos, so you can quickly tap on those and send those out. Now if you swipe all the way over to the right, you have access to the camera application if you want to go ahead and open up the camera application, or you can go ahead and tap on your photo library. So that is a welcome feature in iOS 10. You now have the ability to quickly take a photo without having to leave the messaging application here. Now you will notice that there's a couple of other new icons next to the camera icon here. And this first one is going to be digital touch. So you can now use digital touch just like you can on your Apple Watch. And for those of you who don't know what digital touch is, it's where you can actually write a message. Just like that. So you'll be able to write a message and then it'll quickly send that out after you're done writing that message or scribbling or whatever you'd like. But there's also another thing you can do. You can also tap on here. And you can also tap and hold to send out your heartbeat, which I have always found very weird, but that's a thing there. So you can actually send digital touch using your iOS device opposed to just Apple Watch. So moving on from that, you also have this little icon which looks like the App Store icon, and this gives you different icons that you can send out, similar to a thing called stickers on Facebook Messenger for those of you who have used that before. But you have access to different icons here. This is going to be like the old school Mac stuff. If you swipe over, you actually now get GIFs here. So you'll be able to send GIFs and quickly search the popular images and videos here. So for instance, if you wanted, let's say baseball, you can go ahead and search baseball, and then you'll have a whole bunch of baseball photos. So now you can have fun with GIFs or just send photos by searching here. But if you swipe over to the left again, you now are able to send Apple Music. So if you want to share a song that you are currently listening to, you can do so and just tap on there, and then you'll be able to send that to them, and then they'll be able to go ahead and listen to that song just by pressing play, which is pretty neat. I'm a big music fan, so I think this feature is going to be useful to send to friends. Tell them, hey, check out this track. Now, if you're big in emojis, then these next features, or these next couple of features, will probably satisfy you because they deal with emojis. So say for instance you send emojis here, they are actually now 3 times bigger when you send them. So if you just send a simple emoji without any text, you see here that they are even bigger. So that is a new feature in iOS 10 with emojis, but it doesn't stop there. It gets better, because now when it comes to typing a text message, so let's say, hey, I love iOS 10 and I think it's really cool. Now, instead of having to swipe over and add emojis and kind of replace a word, simply tap on the keyboard icon and then it'll go ahead and highlight the words that match an emoji. So you see here, love, I can change that to different kinds of love, whether it be in the heart, or as you see here, there's a variety of different love emojis. And when it comes to the word think, I can go ahead and replace that with the emoji that has a thinking face. And if I want to go ahead and change cool, which is going to be the face with the sunglasses on. So now you don't really have to waste any time on sending emojis. You may get a little crazy with these emojis and then tap on each word, and I don't know, the other user may not even know what you're talking about, but it's emojis. They make conversations fun. So that's a new feature in iOS 10. Now that we talked about emojis in iOS 10, let's talk about bubble effects. So bubble effects is going to be a new feature where you can press and hold the blue icon, but instead of sending a text or image, you can hold and swipe up and have different effects to your text messages or photos. So as you notice here, you can send it with a slam, you can also send it loud, or you can send it quiet or gently. But we also have send with invisible ink, which I think is pretty cool. So let's go ahead and check that out real quick. So by sending it with invisible ink, you will notice that the text does not display, and it has a little effect where it becomes invisible. And in order to view that text message, all you got to do is swipe your finger across to reveal it. So that not only works with text, but also works with photos. So if you select a photo, you can also have different bubble effects on the photo, including the invisible inks. So if you want to send a photo with invisible ink, it'll display just like this. So again, to reveal that photo, all you got to do is swipe across and it'll reveal it. So it's a different way to send some sort of secret message or a mystery photo. But who knows what you want to do with this, but this is invisible ink. Or you can go ahead and slam a text message and kind of give an effect of how you currently feel when you're sending that message. So I want to go ahead and slam. You can see that effect there, which is pretty neat. Something minor, but it does add some effect to your text message. Now the effects doesn't stop there, and what I mean by that is when you go ahead and send a text, when you press and hold the send icon, instead of selecting a bubble effect, you also have a full screen effect. So by changing the effect up top to screen, you will now have a full screen effect such as balloons. So if you want to wish someone a happy birthday, or there is also confetti. So if you want to congratulate someone, you have the confetti effect. And my favorite is the lasers, but we'll check that one out here shortly. But that is the lasers, but you can swipe over again and you have fireworks. So if it's some type of event, or again, congratulate on something, there's fireworks. And swiping over one more time, you have a shooting star, But going back, here is the lasers. It's probably one of my favorites that I'll probably use the most whenever I send a full screen effect. If I ever use this, I really don't see myself using it much, but that is full screen effect. So let's say you're the type of person that you kind of just want to acknowledge the other person that you read that message, or you really don't know how to reply back to a text. So now you can use a new feature called tap back to show that you liked the message, loved the message, disliked it, laughed, or excited, or just confused. In iOS 10, you can simply do that to a message. And I think this is going to be very useful when it comes to group chats, because you can acknowledge a certain text instead of having to reply. So I see this feature here being utilized a lot in group chats or just in an everyday chat. Now, additionally to the Messages app, you can now handwrite a message. So if you rather handwrite or be personal with a message in your text, you can now simply rotate your device and then write out a message, or you can actually use a recent message. And once you're done and you send it, it gives it a cool little effect on the other end where it writes it out exactly how you wrote out the message. Now, even though this was not mentioned in the keynote, I think this is a big key to iOS 10. And that is the fact that you can remove stock applications finally. So yes, that means you can get rid of things like the Tips app that nobody probably even uses. You can also get rid of other applications, things like the Stocks application, videos, iBooks, even the iTunes store. Now, if you are worried about losing those completely, because you can re-download them from the App Store if you want to put them back on your device, but there's no longer a need to have an Apple junk folder sitting around just for the apps that you never use. Now, the last major improvement for iOS 10 has to be Apple Maps. So Apple Maps, as you know, has not always been the greatest application to use when it comes to navigating anywhere, because you sometimes tend to get lost. So first, what you will notice is the fact that the search bar is now here at the bottom opposed to the top. So when you do go ahead and tap on there, you can go ahead and search a location, or you have access to food locations, drink, shopping, travel, the normal things like it was in the past on Apple Maps. But for instance, if you tap on a location where you want to navigate to, when you do tap go, this is what has gotten improved, and due to privacy, of course, this is why I'm blurring out this part. But down here you'll have when you should arrive, how long it would take, and how many miles, of course. But what's cool is the fact that you can now have, but another thing that you can do now is have the ability to search gas stations that are on that route, or you can also search restaurants or get some coffee. You can also select the overview so you can get an overview of where exactly you're going to be going, also details of the route. And lastly, you have the ability to change the audio option. So the navigation voice, you can put it to no volume, low volume, normal volume, loud volume, or you can also enable and disable this feature here, which allows you to pause the spoken audio. Basically what that does is automatically pause the spoken audio like podcasts and audiobooks during navigation prompts. Now, another key thing is the fact that you can zoom in and out of your route while you're still en route to your destination, which is a key thing. That is something that was missing in last Apple Maps, but now that has come true, where you can actually zoom in and out and see where your route is going to be taking you, opposed to having to tap on overview. Now you can actually just zoom in and out quickly when you are navigating to your destination. Now, another major improvement is going to be the Photos application. So in the Photos app, you have a new Memories tab. So Memories allows you to quickly make videos. It generates a video for you of your past times. So if you've ever gone on a trip or anything like that, it'll actually make a video for you. So as you see here, when I went to Vegas for CES, I can see all the photos from that trip. Also, at the very top, it has a play icon, so I can go ahead and play a video and it'll generate a video for me. It'll download all the videos and photos that deal with that certain trip. So this video here will have all of the photos and videos but we can change some settings here so you can quickly change the type of fill or the fill to the video. So I'm going to do, let's do club, and we can shorten up the video as well. Now when we hit play, it's going to get a little crazy. So that is a quick little video there. You can also edit the video, but that is Memories for the Photos application. You get to relive the past moments in your life with Memories in the Photos application. But alongside with that, we also have the albums. So you have your normal albums, but they're displayed differently as you see here. But another thing that you will notice is the people. So this people album, it'll scan your library and then it'll generate the photos. And here I've already kind of listed the people of who they are. So myself, it'll show me all the photos that have my face in there. And as it keeps scanning the library, you'll have more faces, and then you can give a name to those specific people, and then it'll gather all the photos that have them in them, which is pretty neat. It's actually similar to the Photos application on Mac, but now it's available on iOS. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot, Apple Music also got a redesign, but I still don't know what Apple's thinking because this app just looks disgusting. But other than that, that's going to do it for the major differences in iOS 10. Now in the comments below, also let us know what your favorite feature is or any additional features that you have used that were not covered in the video. And if you enjoyed this video, definitely let us know by hitting that like button below. But if you'd like to stay up to date with the latest news and future iOS features, be sure to follow Redman Pi on social media. All the links will be down below in the description. And lastly, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you'll be notified every time we come out with all of our latest videos. But this is Joel with Redman Pi, and I'll see you guys on the next one.